Good afternoon, Year 11. I hope that you're all doing really well. Today's lesson is going to be one of your revision lessons for the ecology topic. So once you've done this lesson, please go over your revision guide, go on to GCSE Pod, have a look at some of the videos there just to help you to reflect, remember and revise. Okay, so before we start the video, there are a few symbols you need to make yourself aware of that you will see on the slide. So you'll see press pause. When I say press pause, there will be a set timer. So I would like you to set your timer to that time just so that you don't spend too long on one question. And it's good actually for exam practice. Then I want you to write down your answers. This can be done on a revision card or the A4 piece of paper, whatever you have. There are no videos on this video, but you can obviously go onto GCSE Pod to find any extra information you need. For the exam questions, there will be a self-assess section in which you will mark your own work. For the other sections, I will explain to you now what will happen. Okay. So, what you will do is you will use your textbook and your writing book. Obviously, if you're in school, you will use your writing book and you'll get a textbook to help you make these revision cards. This will be done on an A4 sheet of paper. Of course, if you have actual, the really small revision cards, you can do that as well. So you'll be shown a slide with either a revision card or an exam question on it. You must do the exam question slides in silence. It's always good to get more exam practice. You'll be given a time limit for each slide. Any information missing, you need to find at home for revision. So I would write down the question, draw the table, whatever is needed. If you can't get all the information in lesson time, go home, fill out all the information. This is good revision cards for you to use and to refresh your memory. So the exam questions have a mark scheme. Like I said, make sure you are correct in your answers, please. Reflection helps to solidify any knowledge in your mind. So for the first slide, put the following in order to show the levels of organization in an ecosystem. And then the extension, define the terms, because this is quite a common question that keeps coming up. Define the terms. What is the definition of them? So pause the video, set your timer for 5 minutes and write down your answers. Okay, so for the next one, revision card, you have 3 minutes to do this. Read the information, then answer the question at the bottom. So we have a population. It's a group of organisms of the same species. Community, all the populations of the different species in a habitat. And then finally, ecosystem, the interaction of a community of living organisms with the non-living parts of the environment. So the question is, explain what impact an individual organism has within the ecosystem. If you want to, you can go from the viewpoint, what happens if you remove an individual organism from an ecosystem? And maybe give an example of that. So, pause, set your timer for 3 minutes, write down your answers, then unpause when you're ready. Okay, the next revision card. Again, read the information and answer the question. Within a community, each species depends on other species for survival, for example, food. If one species is removed, it can affect the whole community. This is interdependence. We've been through this before. A stable community is one where species and environmental factors are in balance. What might make a community unstable? So, pause, set your timer for 3 minutes and write down your answers, please. The next revision card. This one you have 5 minutes to do. So plants and animals compete for resources. Draw the table and write down the resources they compete for. If you have finished it within the time, or even if you haven't, just do an extension. What happens to species if they are weaker competitors? And a little extra, whose theory is this? So pause, set your timer for 5 minutes and write down your answers, please. Okay, so the next revision card. Biotic factors are living factors. So I noticed in some of your quizzes, you said like living things. You need to say living factors in the environment to get the points. Abiotic factors are non-living factors in the environment. So draw the table and write down the different factors. Write down some examples. Again, extension at the bottom. If you've finished, explain how a biotic factor can lead to a species dying out. So press pause, set your timer for 5 minutes and write out your answers, please. Okay, we have revision card 5. This will be 6 minutes. So organisms have adaptations that enable them to survive in conditions in which they normally live. Extremophiles live in environments that are very extreme, such as high temperature and pressure. Draw the table and write the adaptation. Again, there's an extension. Explain what adaptations a bacteria living in hot vents will have. So pause, set your timer for 6 minutes and write down your answers, please. Okay, now we're moving on to your exam question practice. Remember, these have to be done in silence. Gives you good practice, gets you to engage your brain, really think about it, and know that your answer is yours and not from your partner. So, the picture shows jerboas. Jerboas live in sandy deserts. They sleep in underground holes during the hot day and come out during the cold night. The jerboa's main food is small insects which run across the surface of the sand. Describe as many adaptations from the picture above. If you see, for example, 6 minutes, how many marks will the question be for? It will be for 6 marks. So remember, that's how they do it in the exam, a minute, a mark. So what I would like you to do is pause the video, set your timer for 6 minutes, please, write down your answers, and then once the 6 minutes is up, press play and I will show you the answers. So pause now, please. Okay, so let's see how you did. So A, large eyes to help detect insects on a dark night, because remember they come out at night. B, large ears to hear predators. C, to help insulate it on a cold night. D, helps it keep balance when hopping. So that's the reason it has an adaptation of a really long tail. E, helps it hop quickly to catch its prey. And then F, whiskers. Might be a bit difficult to see in the picture, to detect the size of the hole. So I would like you to self-assess your work, correct anything, add more information. So pause the video, self-assess, and then once you've done that, unpause it. Okay, exam question practice again. Animals in the habitat compete with each other. Give 2 factors for which animals may compete. Again, 2 minutes for 2 marks. So pause, set your timer for 2 minutes, write down your answers, and then when you're ready, come back and we'll self-assess. Okie dokie, let's see how you did. I would like you to add extra information, because I know it only asked for 2 of them and I'm giving you 4. So add that information. There's no harm in having a little bit more. So, food/feeding. If you put water, unfortunately, no, the mark scheme says no. Mates and mating. Territory, space, land, shelter, nesting sites. Those will all be included in territory. Ignore homes, place to live, habitat, resources. You can see there are actually a lot of words that the mark scheme will not allow. In science, you have to be very specific. You have to use the correct terminology. So that's really important for you to know. And last one, status within a group. When you see something in brackets, it means for you to get the points, if you just put status, that's fine. You don't have to have it within a group. But if you put that, you will still get the mark. Okay, so pause the video, self-assess. When you're ready, come back. Okay, so exam practice. Again, this is a 6 marker. Oh, I know it says 8 minutes here. I made a mistake. So it's actually 6 minutes only I'm going to give you. So in this question, you'll be assessed on using good English, organizing information clearly, and using specialist terms where appropriate. So the tapeworm is another parasite. The image below shows part of a tapeworm. The tapeworm lives inside the small intestine of a mammal. Describe and explain how the tapeworm is adapted for living inside the small intestine of its host. So pause the video, set the timer for 6 minutes, write down your answers, then when you're ready, come back to the video and we'll self-assess it. Okay, so let's have a look. Now, this is a mark scheme. This is what we see, for example, while I'm marking your mocks now. This is what I will see, and it will help us to give you the correct marks. So it says marks awarded for the answer will be determined by the quality of communication as well as the standard of scientific response. You will get 0 marks if there's no relevant content, meaning if you have answered the question, but it has nothing to do with actually what you have been asked. Level 1, so this will give you 1 to 2 marks, description and explanation of an adaptation which only involves hooks and or suckers. Level 2, 3 to 4 marks, description and explanation of adaptations including hooks or suckers with any other adaptation or explanation. So if you just give the adaptation, you won't get it. You want to link them together. Then level 3, 5 to 6 marks, description of the most correct adaptations and explanations. So these are the examples of points that you could make. Hooks for holding on, not being detached. Suckers for holding on, not being detached. Flattened, large surface area, absorption of large amounts of food. No gut, no need for as the host digests the food. A thick cuticle, protection from the host's enzymes, because it's in the small intestine and you have enzymes all the way through your digestive system, so not digested. Large number of eggs, increased chance of infecting a new host. Some of this you would have known before. Some of you can use the information that either is common knowledge to you, for example, large number of eggs. That's how a lot of parasites spread in the host. They produce so many eggs, their reproduction rate is so high. You can also say allow hermaphrodite or self-fertilizing, which means it doesn't need a mate or a partner for it to breed. Like to be just one worm per host, internal fertilization. So I would like you to pause the video, self-assess your answer and write this down. Okay, so if you need a bit more time, if you need more help, if you want to check this video again, it is going to be on the Garibaldi YouTube video. No, the Garibaldi YouTube channel. And I will also put a link on your Teams for those students at home. So you can always go on to Teams. You'll find the link to the video. So good luck, keep revising ecology, and have a great day.